So guys, today we are going to talk about an anime series called The Apothecary Diaries. The story begins with our main character, Mao Mao. Her father, who looks more like her grandfather because of his white hair, asks her to deliver some medicine. He warns her to be careful since kidnappings have been happening lately. Mao Mao agrees and sets off, but on her way back she gets distracted by some beautiful flowers. Suddenly, 3 tall men appear and abduct her. Months later, Mao Mao finds herself working as a servant in the emperor's palace, along with other kidnapped children. She wonders if her father is eating well and if she has been sold or simply taken. She soon learns that rebellion means death, and they must work tirelessly for 2 years before gaining freedom. One day, she overhears a conversation about the emperor's children mysteriously dying and suspects it's not a curse. She secretly leaves a message for Lady Gyokuyu, warning her that the white powder she uses is poisonous. Lady Gyokuyu is grateful and promotes Mao Mao to her lady-in-waiting. When asked how she knew, Mao Mao explains that she grew up in a brothel where the same powder was used for beauty, but was actually toxic. The second episode starts with villagers eating food and mysteriously dying one by one. This news reaches Jinshi, and his assistant tells him that the village chief has been arrested. Jinshi is asked to help with the investigation and also talks about Mao Mao, saying she is knowledgeable about medicine. Meanwhile, Mao Mao arrives at the Jade Pavilion, where she is introduced to the palace and meets other ladies-in-waiting. She finds them nervous around her, soon realizing why. Her new job is to taste food for poison. Since Mao Mao has experimented on herself with poisons before, she easily detects them, which surprises everyone. She also advises Gyokuyu to eat from silverware to detect poison. Later, Mao Mao investigates the village deaths and finds that poisonous wood used for cooking has spread toxins into the food. Jinshi then asks Mao Mao to make medicine, which she eagerly does. However, some palace maids accidentally consume the drugged food and faint, proving its effectiveness. At the end, Jinshi kisses Mao Mao's neck, praising her skills, and the episode ends. The third episode of The Apothecary Diaries begins with a woman named Lady Fei sitting before Jinshi, upset about something before storming off. Later, a servant walking in the palace at night sees a girl in white wandering around and mistakes her for a ghost. The next day, Mao Mao is making medicine in the kitchen when another lady-in-waiting mentions a rumor about a ghost in the harem. Curious, Mao Mao visits her servant friend, who describes the ghost as a girl in white who dances on the palace walls under the moonlight. Mao Mao dismisses it as an old superstition, but starts investigating. Later, Jinshi asks Mao Mao about the ghost, suggesting it might be sleepwalking. He asks her to prepare medicine, but she explains there's no cure. That night, Mao Mao and Gaoshun see a girl in white dancing on the palace walls. Lady Fei, a mistress awaiting her fate as a reward to a military officer. Mao Mao learns that Fei was once a dancer, but deliberately stumbled in front of the emperor to avoid his attention. She realizes Fei is sleepwalking out of anxiety, waiting for a soldier she loves. The next day, Fei reunites with the officer, and they embrace as Mao Mao reflects on love's mysterious nature. The fourth episode of The Apothecary Diaries begins with Mao Mao checking the emperor's food for poison, a task she has mastered. As she finishes, the emperor unexpectedly calls her, which shocks her since he has never spoken to her before. He asks if she can treat Lady Lihua, who has mysteriously fallen ill. Knowing she cannot refuse, Mao Mao agrees. Later, she discusses it with a friend, realizing the emperor must not trust his own physicians. She decides to start by improving Lady Lihua's diet and heads to the kitchen to prepare light, nutritious food. However, the lady-in-waiting refuses to let Mao Mao see Lady Lihua and dismisses her efforts. Frustrated but determined, Mao Mao tries again, but the same thing happens. This time, Jinshi witnesses it and intervenes, forcing the attendants to let Mao Mao in. When she sees Lady Lihua, she is shocked to find her face covered in the toxic white powder. Furious, Mao Mao slaps the makeup attendant, rubs the powder on her face, and warns her it's poison. She then takes charge of Lady Lihua's care, ensuring her recovery. 2 months later, Lady Lihua is healthy again. Before leaving, Mao Mao gives her secret advice, hoping the emperor will visit her again. The fifth episode of the Apothecary Diaries begins with Mao Mao discovering a variety of mushrooms in the palace garden, which excites her. Later, she visits her friend, prepares a meal, and they chat. Her friend mentions a rumor about a palace maid using a love potion to enchant a military officer. Mao Mao suspects someone might have misused the aphrodisiac she previously made. The scene shifts to Mao Mao meeting the court physician, where she presents the mushrooms. The physician, thrilled, examines them while Mao Mao watches. Suddenly, a panicked man arrives, claiming to be cursed after burning a piece of fabric found in palace waste. His hands are red and swollen. Mao Mao investigates, realizing that burning certain materials changes the flame's color, much like fireworks. She prepares medicine for his wounds while Jinshi arrives, praising her quick thinking. Later, Jinshi takes Mao Mao to examine various pigments. She identifies ways to extract and apply them, but deep down, she wonders if these wooden plaques could contain a secret message. Later, Mao Mao returns to the Jade Pavilion, where the ladies-in-waiting are preparing for a palace banquet. She is given elegant clothes and, despite her reluctance, is dressed up for the occasion. The next day, the concubines and their attendants, including Mao Mao, attend the banquet, where Jinshi moves from one group to another, complimenting the women. When he reaches Lady Gyokuyu's group, he is momentarily stunned by Mao Mao's beauty. Noticing her lack of usual dirt marks, he asks if she has put on makeup. Mao Mao explains that she used to apply dirt to appear undesirable, avoiding attention at the brothel where she grew up. Jinshi, feeling guilty for not preventing her kidnapping, apologizes, but Mao Mao reassures him. Before leaving, he gently places a hair ornament in her hair, leaving the other ladies in waiting in awe. The episode ends as the banquet begins.